Ebolas.
You don't think that the elections are going to slow things down?
Well, my take on elections is that elections should be, I've always advocated for the elections to follow the economy. Those of us who are interested in developing and growing the economy should continue to do what we're doing. The politicians will follow us. I think it's a wrong take for a country to have its economy follow its elections. This is not to say that the political climate does not at times determine what business should be. I'm just saying that as a people, we should resolve that it should be the other way around. I mean, there are countries in which there are massive challenges. They are killing people, they are fighting, insurgency and all that. But the democratic process is going on, the economy is going on, and all that. We must learn to take everything together. And that's why...
Is that what you see happening now?
And that's what I see happening now, because for all the fears expressed, I mean, the airlines are reporting heavier and heavier passenger load into Nigeria, not even with the Ebola scare. They're all coming in. So it means they're seeing a larger good within the context of some of the bad news that filter out of these environments.
Let's go back to what you said about the Ebola scare. I know you've just said that despite the Ebola scare, a lot of investment is still coming into the country. What do you think the government can do to improve the healthcare system, especially with public-private partnership?
If nothing else we can get out of this Ebola thing is the way it has returned us to the conscious business of good hygiene and healthcare development. In my time in school, primary school, we learned a subject called hygiene and all that. With the benefit of hindsight, this was what it was all about. Wash your hands before you eat and after you eat. Learn clean habits. When you go to the toilet, keep it clean. When you go to any home, if you want to assess somebody, go to the person's toilet, go to the kitchen. You get a fair idea of the kind of person that you're dealing with.
Basic things, really.
Basic things. So if this is what Ebola is going to return all of us to our senses, let's do that. But on a more, on a sadder note, some of the people who died, especially if you look at Dr. Adadevo, and no less the nurses and all the others who paid the supreme sacrifice, I just feel sad that the country let them down. For doctors and nurses who are trained in the business of saving lives, when it was now their turn, there was nothing, nobody. Their colleagues were on strike. The isolation centers were not ready. The landlords and co were stigmatizing people. We just let them down, and this is not right. So if their death is going to be the sacrifice we require to up our game, then let them not. That death will not have been in vain. And I think that's what we as a country owe to them. The healthcare system must wake up. I'm talking about healthcare. There's a lot going on. I was at the last AMPA conference. AMPA stands for Association of Nigerian Physicians in the Americas. And it's the umbrella body for the nearly 4,000 to 6,000 specialist healthcare personnel, doctors, nurses, paramedics in the U.S. It's humbling to find that we have that many Nigerians in the diaspora. Nigerians in the diaspora. Robust conference. Last year, they invited a number of us outside of the medical profession. Atedo Peter Side was there, Governor Central Bank Sanusi, Kimbel Osage, chairman of Etisalat. I was there with Udin Ajumogobe, former foreign minister, to talk to them about the healthcare and the nation, and how can we begin to look at the business of medicine, a business that today sees that about $2 to $3 billion leaves these shores every year to other climes, because Nigerians are looking for the most basic of healthcare. How can
like
we?
India,
So much so that Indians are actually investing in PR firms here to lobby Nigerians to leave their shores to go and get the most basic of hip replacement surgery, operations, eye, things like that. It's an indictment of the biggest black nation in the world boasting of some of the most resounding professionals you can find working the surface of this earth. So if this is what Ebola will do to us, let's go back to it. And I'm glad that the Nigerian doctors are now alive to it. I know that the moment the Ebola thing broke out, they engaged with the Center for Disease Control, the CDC, so that Nigeria does not sort of get in very negative reporting about what was happening. So when you have your nearly 6,000 man association keep watch over you, it's a very soothing feeling. And now I know some state governments are beginning to see that they must partner with the private sector to improve on healthcare delivery services in Nigeria. One of the foremost states doing that is Akwa Ibom. Delta is another one. And I know that they are going all out to establish specialist care centers. Lagos State, I must not fail to mention, is one of them. In the coming years, the determination is for them to take a piece of this medical tourism business that I'm telling you that ranks in the billions of dollars and trap it here. So not only do you then get first-class medical facilities for Nigerians, you begin to actually take care of the medical needs of the sub-region and perhaps the wider continent, which is a sort of leadership role Nigeria should be playing in almost all sectors. So this is what it is.
Let me bring you back to your constituency, the legal sector. I know you were recently appointed Special Advisor to the International Trade in Legal Services Committee of the Bar Issues Commission of the International Bar Association.
That is correct.
And I know it's because of the work that you've done as pioneer chairman of the section on business law. So tell us more about that.
If you remember, when the SBL started, one of the early alarms we blew at the time was the imminent threat to the way we've practiced law in this country by the globalization gale. Nigeria in 1995, strangely under the Abacha regime, signed on to the WTO, which makes us a member of the World Trade Organization, where there's a general agreement that the world should move towards breaking down the barriers to trade in goods and services between nations. So that is the general idea. They meet in Geneva, and from time to time they table different sectors. So this is what was going on. Now, when it was time for legal services, we raised the alarm because there are the exporting countries, those from advanced countries, who want to export their legal services because they feel it's sophisticated, it will address the needs, it will improve and help businesses. Very altruistic things, fair enough. But at the end of the day, you're talking about naira and kobo, dollars and cents and everything. Yeah, what's there for the importing countries? And that's where the impasse has been. That's where the fight has been. Do you just want to come in without any assurance to me whatsoever? So what we did in the SBL was to draw Nigerian lawyers, make them become aware that this is happening. It is not because we intended that you can completely stop it, because you cannot totally stop it, because legal service is just one of several services that we're talking about. But what we sought to achieve was to get us to the point where we will be ready. We should prepare ourselves for the competition that globalization comes with.
And this is where we end today's episode of the program. These and past episodes are on our YouTube page. And you can interact with me via Facebook, email, or Twitter. I am Shola Shiyeli. Thank you for watching.